What's up? Back at you again, guys, with another part 2 video testing decant samples. So I'm going to finish basically testing the rest of the samples here that I haven't already tested. So 6 packs left. I'll do 3 packs in this video, another 3 in part 3, or at least third part. To start this off, in here, the pack of 4 decants. So we'll start off with Azzaro Chrome, the original. So there is a lot of flankers to the Azzaro Chrome that I've noticed, but this is just the original, just the simple, the one that started it. So what does it smell like? Basically, on my computer, I've written down notes for all of these fragrances, because I have already tested them. This is basically based off first impressions that I had written down. So yeah, what does it smell like? Azzaro Chrome. Very fresh, citrus. There's a lot of fresh florals and a little bit of soapiness. You get some wood, some cardamom. It's a really nice scent, okay? It's very strong, good performing, but it comes across as a little feminine because the florals are so overpowering in this and strong. It does remind me a lot of Silver Mountain Water by Creed, just because the florals in there are very strong and smelling. Okay, so the florals aren't that bad. It's not like a rose kind of floral where it just stings, but it is noticeable. So if you're not a fan of florals, you will notice it. It's a good freshie. I think if you want a fresh fragrance that performs well, then Azzaro Chrome is pretty good, but I'm just not too keen on the florals, but I do think it's a good scent. I'll be interested to try some of the flankers that came out after it. Maybe something without florals would be really nice. So I do look forward to trying some of the flankers in the future. So next we have Dior Pom cologne. Now, I was a huge fan of Jimmy Choo Man Ice, and the reason I got Dior Homme Cologne is because everyone says the Homme Cologne is like the same kind of smell. And I do agree. I do think this smells like Jimmy Choo Man Ice, but the citrus is done a little better, a little more natural smelling. It doesn't perform very well, and it's not as cold. So Jimmy Choo Man Ice has a very cold smell to it, and while this is very similar, it doesn't smell as cold, which to me, that's the thing that I like about Jimmy Choo Man Ice, is how cold it actually smells. And it is the same kind of smell vibe, but just not as cold, and I don't think it's as fresh. But I think the lemon is done a little better in this. Even though it's not the most realistic lemon, it's also not that synthetic smelling either. So it's a very nice citrus. If you compare Dior Homme Cologne to Sauvage, you'll notice the citrus in this is way better than Sauvage. They actually do a very good job with the citrus in here. So my notes say it's a fresh, natural citrus smelling, very clean, enjoyable, mass appealing scent. Yeah, it's basically the same kind of vibe as Jimmy Choo Man Ice, a little bit less synthetic, a better quality, and it does have that lemonade type of vibe to it. So if you want that lemonade smell, this is really good for that lemonade kind of fragrance. But besides that, it's pretty hard to like give you more detail when it's just basically a citrus fragrance, and there's not much else that they really do besides that. So I can only say so much about it because it's just basically a citrus scent that's very cold and refreshing, and that's all it is. And performance is not that great, but the smell is pretty nice. Okay, so next we have in here Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct. I'd heard a lot of good reviews about Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct. It was hyped up a lot by Jeremy Fragrance. Jeremy Fragrance has really hyped this stuff up, so I was expecting it not to be as good because some of the other stuff he's hyped hasn't really lived up to the expectations so far, like Encre Noir, Bentley for Men Intense, and just a few others he's recommended. So this actually is really good. It's delicious melon citrus opening with slight woody vibe to it. I think there's no wood actually in here. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it does have wood, but it could be suede. I know there is suede in here, and that could be what's giving it that woody kind of smell. That suede, I think the suede gives it a little bit of a woody smell. And this reminds me a lot of Pacific Rock Moss by Goldfield and Banks. And I really love the melon in this because I'm not a huge fan of citrus openings or citrus fragrances. I really like the more fruity alternatives like apple, melon, kiwi, pineapple, even mango, like those kind of openings. I really like them. Something fresh but different. And I really like Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct. It's another one that did surpass my expectations. Another one, I can't say too much about it besides it does have a little bit more depth than just being a citrus fragrance. It's got melon, citrus, that woody vibe going on. I don't think the performance is that bad either. I get decent performance from this on skin. Lasts a good amount of time for me. Just that opening, it's going to be one of the best openings I've ever smelled. It doesn't change too much in the dry down, so the smell will remain kind of the same as the opening does. Performance is not that bad. It's not like beast mode though. It is definitely worth buying. I would recommend buying this one because I know I'm definitely going to buy it when I get a chance to get a whole bottle. It's on my list of ones to buy already. And yeah, definitely solid fragrance that girls are definitely going to love. Definitely something that's going to get you compliments off women. I can say it's supposed to be aquatic as well. It has like aquatic vibes to it. I don't get too much aquatic out of it. I get more fruity melon vibes, but maybe I just haven't had the full wearing experience of a whole bottle. And next is also by Abercrombie & Fitch. It's called Fierce. What I have written down on my notes, smells very soapy, citrus, aquatic. You get some hints of florals in here, but not in a bad way. I said it had some cardamom in there. You do get a little bit of cardamom. And this is also a really nice scent. I tend to like the soapy smelling scents for some reason because I think it is very fresh and slightly unique, more unique than lemon. I do really like that soapiness to it. It's just amazing. So another one, it's going to be like one of the better ones I've smelt for a fresh fragrance for sure. I don't know whatever Abercrombie & Fitch were doing back then, that they were really onto something with their fragrances back then. First Instinct, Fierce, really good scents that could give even the best fresh fragrances a run for their money. Like all the big names, Bleu de Chanel, Sauvage, Aqua de Joe. I honestly think girls are going to love this more. Even the YSL White or YSL Loam. I think girls are going to love the Abercrombie & Fitch either equally as much or more. Honestly, because I know I actually prefer over a lot of them. But what do I prefer, Fierce or First Instinct? I think I prefer First Instinct over Fierce, honestly. Despite the soapiness of this, I think First Instinct is a little better because it's more fruity and it's just more my kind of fragrance, my vibes. And the performance of this also pretty good for a fresh fragrance, honestly. So next, okay, we have some warm fragrances now. We have some sweet ones. So we'll start off with one of the most hyped fragrances online that's been a talk for a while now by MFK. Burberry Rouge 540. Everyone knows Burberry Rouge 540. I mean, if you've never heard of it, then you must be living under a rock or something. Even though I don't leave the house that often, I definitely have heard of this plenty of times. Demi Rawlings hyped it up, I think. Gent Sense has hyped it up. Basically, you may have seen people on social media talk about this quite a lot just because it's a big hit with the girls. Like, girls really love this stuff, okay? And the reason is because it smells like candy, cotton candy. It's really got that cotton candy smell going on. I think I'm a little bit nose blind to this. It's super sweet, syrupy. I think the smell, even though it smells like cotton candy, that syrupiness comes from fir resin, okay? So, as you know, maple syrup comes from maple trees, and it's got that sweet syrupy smell. Well, fir resin also comes from a fir tree, and you get that syrupy sweet smell as well. But it doesn't smell that green. It actually, despite coming from fir tree, it's not a green smell. It's a cotton candy sweet smell. Performance is really bad with this stuff. It doesn't last very long at all. I sprayed it on skin, on paper. I really had to do a few sprays and I still couldn't smell anything. So I've been interested to try the X straight version instead to see if the performance is better with the X straight version. But this, I also think there may even be other versions of this, like a parfum or something. I'll have to check that out. So this is just the original, but I really love this stuff. I think for a sweet scent, where this really shines is there's not many sweet scents that are unique or different, okay? So a lot of the time they're vanilla, they're coffee, they're chocolate, they've got alcohol in them like rum, or they've got caramel or something else in them. They might have tobacco, wood, they might be more gourmand. This is different from all of those, okay? So for a sweet scent, you may want something that girls are actually gonna like. This appeals to girls for a sweet scent. It's not vanilla, but girls are gonna love it. I can't say I've seen many sweet scents like this. Besides ultra male, it's got that bubblegum smell. It's got vanilla in it too. So this, you do get a little bit of bubblegum, a little bit of cotton candy without the vanilla. And I think that's what I like about this, is it's still unique for a sweet scent. And yeah, it's not like a manly smelling scent that's gonna put women off like Bentley for Men Intense. That stuff smells disgusting. This is like a sweet scent done right. It's not like spicy, Spice Bomb Extreme kind of scent either. It's really mass appealing, I'd say. And people say it has medicinal vibes, like medicine. I don't get that at all. To me, it's just cotton candy. If you add a little bit of water to cotton candy, you just watered it down and you collect that juice. That's what this would be. Okay, so next is a good one actually, because I was just talking about Spice Bomb Extreme. Okay, it's called Tom Ford Noir Extreme. I said it smells like Spice Bomb Extreme. Even the name's similar, Noir Extreme. So they're both extreme, but the smell is actually almost identical to Spice Bomb Extreme, honestly. I don't see too many differences actually with this and Spice Bomb, but I would say the differences I can notice. It's sweet vanilla nutmeg, okay, so it has that in common with Spice Bomb. And if you don't know what nutmeg is, it kind of gives off that cola smell when you use it in food and perfume. So nutmeg is a spice, but when you taste it and you add it in desserts and stuff, it does give it a little bit of a cola flavor and smell. And that's why I think Spice Bomb smells like cola to me. This does also have that cola kind of smell. But Spice Bomb's a little spicier than this. I think this doesn't perform as good as Spice Bomb. It's less spicy than Spice Bomb. There's no cinnamon that I can smell in here, and without the tobacco. So you mentioned Spice Bomb, less strong, less tobacco. Like, you can't really smell cinnamon. Then you would have Noir Extreme. So for that reason, I actually prefer this over Spice Bomb, because I think Spice Bomb is just cinnamon, cola, and tobacco, and this is a little better, okay? In my opinion, you don't get that cinnamon, cola, tobacco smell as much with this. There is definitely some cola in there, but this is just way better in my opinion. Performance of this, it's still good, okay? It's not Spice Bomb level good, but it's still solid. Okay, still solid scent for you to get. And next is Bulgari Aqua Atlantique, and I'm so disappointed because they have just discontinued this fragrance as of recently, right as I've had a chance to smell it. And this has really disappointed me because of the apple opening, okay? The opening is so delicious. It's one of the best openings I've ever smelled, and I really want to buy a bottle of this, and it's just discontinued, and I just wish they didn't discontinue it, because it's going to be so hard to buy now, and eventually in the future you won't be able to buy it at all, and that's definitely sad for such a great fragrance. Apple opening smells like a cross between First Instinct, and it does have some Dylan Blue vibes to it as well. I definitely notice when you spray it in the air, especially in the air, and you sniff it, you get some Dylan Blue in here. It doesn't smell very aquatic to me, but maybe I'm just getting used to all these aquatic fragrances now, and they all kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm getting anosmic to that aquatic smell so much. But yeah, I like the fruitiness of this, very fruity. The aquatic vibe you get is a little bit like Light Blue Intense and First Instinct, so it does have that somewhat aquatic vibe to it, but it's definitely fruity as well, like First Instinct is. And the apple, like, once again, it's not your generic citrus opening, it's a nice apple opening, and I really like that. And yeah, it does have that Dylan Blue smell as well, and I love Dylan Blue, as you know. I've already reviewed that in another video, and I love Dylan Blue as well, so it's got big tick for me. One of my favorite scents I've smelled as of yet. And they've discontinued it, which is such a shame because it's just amazing stuff. And the last one from that pack is Maison Margiela Jazz Club. So this has been the talk of the internet for a long time. Jazz Club, another one that you've definitely heard because everyone talks about it. But it's not always in a good way. Like, some people talk about it because they don't like it, and some people do like it. Jazz Club is what I think Bentley for Men should have smelled like, what I expected it to smell like, but it didn't. Okay, so this is one of the best sweet scents I've ever smelled in my life. It's got this boozy vanilla smell, very warm, super smooth. I wasn't expecting it to be this smooth, this vanilla-y, this alcoholic and boozy. It is more of a mature scent. It's not a young scent despite having vanilla-y smell to it. I don't smell tobacco in there, so that might be a good thing for some people because you don't want that alcohol tobacco smell. Like some people, that's what I noticed a lot of people were hating on it for. It doesn't smell like that. It does smell a little bit similar to smoke. to Splash Bomb, and Initio side effect, but there's no cola in there. So you could say it does have a Splash Bomb, Initio side effect kind of vibe to it going on there. And Stronger With You, absolutely as well. There's definitely a little bit of that rum smell in there. And just because of how smooth it is, it does remind me a lot of Stronger With You, absolutely. Even if you looked at the color, it's like the same color as Stronger With You, absolutely as well. Like that really dark orange color. So the performance of Jazz Club is also really good. I think Jazz Club beats Splash Bomb Extreme, beats all these giant overhyped fragrances. Even though this is one of the hyped ones, it's one of the older ones too, so you'd think it'd be outdated by now. Not at all. It definitely blows them out the water by a long shot. Definitely enjoyable to smell. I don't think it's going to be that appealing to women though. I think it's more of a manly scent that's going to appeal more to older, mature men, and maybe some girls that like sweet stuff and boozy. But yeah, just keep in mind it is a sweet scent, and that's not going to be mass appealing for that reason because of the sweetness and alcohol. Okay, so the last pack I got here is some more sweet fragrances in here, okay? So we'll start off with one of the most hyped ones online again. It's called Dior Homme Intense. And this is absolutely disgusting. I'm so sorry to all the fans out there. I don't like it. I really wanted to because it has iris in there and I love iris, but it's just not good. It's very sweet, overly sweet, but it does have some balance from the iris in there. I let my sister try it because I wasn't sure if it was just me. She hated it too. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people online that also hate this. They don't like the makeup lipstick smell, and it just smells like a women's makeup bag. And if you don't know what that smells like, maybe that's a good thing because then you won't associate it with that. But yeah, it is a very old man, old lady smell, very mature. It just smells, something about it is just off. I really wanted to like it because of the iris, and I think it's just not a good scent in general. It's not something you would wear. It almost makes you feel nauseous when you spray it on. It's very sick smelling. I'll give it some points though, just because of the balance in there, and I think it has iris in there. So some people really like the iris, and I can see that. I can totally see that. So if you're just an iris fan and you absolutely love this stuff, then you'll probably like this. Or maybe you won't, because I didn't like it, and I'm an iris fan as well. There's better iris fragrances you can get, okay? This actually smells like Homme Intense, and I'll actually have that in the box that I'll review another time in part 3. Yeah. On paper, not good. On skin, not good. Unfortunately, it's not going to get you any ladies either because they don't like this. Well, at least most of them don't, but some do. So, not every girl's going to hate it, but some actually will. I know Curly Fragrance actually hypes it up a lot. Jen Sense hypes it up a lot. But even Curly Fragrance, she likes it. So, I guess there are some women out there that do like the stuff. And next would be Angel Share by Kilian. And this is another really hyped fragrance, honestly. Angel Share is like supposed to be the best by Kilian fragrance ever. And I can totally see where the hype comes from for this, because I think there's a vanilla, boozy, nutty opening in this that's absolutely amazing. But it's cognac as well. So there's a cognac alcohol which gives it a boozy vanilla smell. And the opening, I've got to admit, the opening had me straight away. I said the opening to Angel Share was heavenly and amazing until the dry down. And then the dry down was okay for the first second or two. Had a roasted candied nut smell, okay? So candied nuts that had been roasted, and you had this vanilla-y, sweet, syrupy, nutty kind of smell. So maybe Stronger With You absolutely vibes, or 1 Million Lucky vibes going on. But then the smell got worse. Started smelling a little bit like cinnamon and tiramisu. Then it got really gourmand. Started smelling like baked cinnamon muffins or hot cross buns or something. And then it starts to smell really old and mature, like an older person, and it gets really bad. It just gets worse and worse and worse. That's what really did it for me. I just couldn't get past that. It's like you walked into a bakery and now making hot cross buns or cinnamon buns or like gingerbread or something like that, and then it just smells bad. Like, I wish I could just smell the opening and just have that opening without the bad dry down in there, and then it would be such a great scent. But I actually like this one just for the opening only, and I mean, I am a sweet fan. I do kind of like gourmand fragrances, but just not not this kind of gourmand, okay? So it didn't live up to the hype at all, but I can see where the hype comes from because the opening is that good. Unfortunately, I just had a lot of expectations going in, thinking it was going to be good because I've tried other by Kilian fragrances before, like Black Phantom, and I absolutely love Black Phantom because the coffee in there is just amazing. But yeah, so didn't live up to the hype. Not the worst scent I've smelled. I mean, you could wear it. It's not going to be the worst scent ever, but not for me personally, not my cup of tea. And then the next is, yep, probably the most talked about Tom Ford scent out there. It's Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. And I don't know where to start with this stuff, but I can say the opening does have a little bit of a sweet scent to it. It does have that sweet vanilla opening. Not bad. The opening is okay. It's passable. But then it starts to smell like old raisin bread and gingerbread with a stale vanilla smell. Just disgusting, I said. And then it does smell like an old person's house that's just also finished baking some raisin bread or something. So if you look at the nose, it says dried fruits. And I am so convinced those dried fruits are raisins, because that's what you get is raisins in here, and I don't think anyone actually likes raisins, and if you do, you're probably a psychopath and I don't trust you. But anyone that likes raisins, if you like the smell of raisin bread, you like tobacco vanille. I don't like the smell of gingerbread, raisin bread. I don't even really like gingerbread that much, like honestly. If you like Christmas time, I guess people eat that around Christmas time. It might remind you of Christmas if you can associate it with that. If you like cinnamon buns, you might really like this stuff. I don't think it's overly sweet like people say it is. I expected it to be a lot sweeter than it actually is. It is definitely sweet. There's no freshness in here, but it's not like as sweet as people say it is. Like, I think there's a little bit spicy, but in a ginger kind of way. A little ginger, old man, raisin bread kind of in a way, yeah. Nutmeg and cinnamon. Nutmeg, ginger, cinnamon kind of spice to it. Not a pepper spice, by the way, or a chili spice. And ironically, I actually have another by Kilian fragrance in here, and I was just talking about Angel Share. So, start the next one off talking about Back to Black by Kilian. And this is the last one for the video to review. Lucky last. Is lucky last lucky though? Is it lucky? No, not at all. Okay, it's disgusting. Back to Black smells like flowers and a bunch of random notes just jumbled together, and it kind of clashes with each other, and I don't like that when a fragrance does this. But it does have a medicinal smell to it. There's something off about it, and there's a clash of floral. So this is a very floral smelling fragrance, which you would not expect if you were looking at the notes and stuff. Yeah, it's very medicinal, very floral, something really bad in here. It does smell old, mature. I don't think there's going to be many people that like this, honestly, besides frag heads. Honestly, some of the frag heads just like so many bad fragrances and hype them up for some reason. I can't understand their mentality behind hyping up fragrances like these that just aren't good. Tom Ford, Tobacco Vanille, Bentley for Man Intense, Interlude Black Iris, Back to Black, Angel Share, Dior Pom Intense. How do you like all these fragrances? They're absolutely terrible.